Welcome everybody. We've got some Division 2 action now between one of our regulars from the past, Anthony Frederiksson, took a couple of seasons off and he's back and he is doing battle with Chris Andres at the top of the screen. This is new standard. We'll have to see how many new cards we're going to see here. You can see in Anthony's hand there, Anthony's the one that recorded this, Angel of Grace. It's the new mythic 5/4 flying angel with flash, and it's kind of like the if something reduces your life total to 0, it reduces it to 1 instead. Chris looks like he's on this traditional sort of aggressive red-black burn deck. I tried this out week 1 as well, but did horribly for me, so we'll see how Chris is going to go. He's got Anthony down to 11 already on turn 2, which is pretty impressive. And here's a new card, Skewer the Critics. Cast for Spectacle. He did some damage with the Gitu Lava Runners, so it's a lightning bolt for 1. Anthony very quickly down to 8, but Resplendent Angel comes down. Resplendent Angel does not have Death Touch. Does not have Lifelink. It's going to get Lifelink once he gets to 6 mana, which is a very long time away. But it looks like starting to stabilize here. Anthony's starting to stabilize. He's got Mortify in hand. At 8 life, you can see Chris is only down to 1 card, and this is huge. Shalai is a card that I love to play with. It gives him protection from the burn, so all those burn spells can't go to the face. And I think Anthony has stabilized enough to probably win this from here, you'd imagine. A Lyra Dawnbringer will just shut the door on this one. And he's going to have lethal on board next turn. I think we're going to see a concession. You can see the lifelink from the Resplendent Angel. We're going to game 2 very quickly. So Anthony, a dominant first game display. Probably just a very bad matchup here for Chris, because he needs to win before turn 5. Chris's sort of game plan is built around fast burn. Once he goes past turn 5, he doesn't really have a hell of a lot of top end. Whereas Anthony's got, say, we obviously saw Baneslayer. Here's another new card, Theatre of Horrors. Exile top card of your library at the beginning of your upkeep. And you can play it your whole turn as long as some damage was done. So it's kind of like one of the red siege cards. I think it was called Outpost Siege. Except this one, you're rather than at the start of the turn, you can play it anytime you want during your turn. And it does, obviously it has a condition of Spectacle on it. But I think it's going to be a pretty good anti-control card. But again, we're seeing from Chris this slow start. And here's Light Up the Stage. So this one again is a Spectacle card. You can exile the top 2 and play them if you wish that turn. So he's got Anthony down to 12. But again, here comes Shalai. We'll see if he's brought in anything that can actually deal with Shalai. Theatre of Horrors finds a mountain. So he has to do the damage with Lava Coil. That deals with Shalai. So Fanatical Firebrand's going to get in for 1 here. That's going to enable Spectacle. He'll play that mountain and pass the turn. Yeah, Lava Coil is a good answer to Shalai. It's not going to answer Lyra Dawnbringer, so we'll have to see what he's got to deal with Lyra. Another new card, and we can see there in Anthony's hand, is Bedevil. It's like the new hero's downfall, except it can target artifacts as well. And rather than require a colorless, it requires a red. Second Shalai. How many can Chris deal with here? Theatre of Horrors finds a Theatre of Horrors. Well, Fanatical Firebrand, if he wanted, is going to be able to activate the Spectacle, because he can just sacrifice it and go to the face, which is exactly what he's going to do. So we'll see if Theatre of Horrors... Oh no, he's going to go after Shalai, and then the Lightning Strike is going to finish the job. Well, he's got Anthony down to 9 here with that Viashino Pyromancer. So Anthony's position was looking super strong, and somehow Chris has fought through 2 Shalais. Theater of Horrors shows a Gitu lava runner. We'll see if he's going to be able to, he's going to Wizard's Lightning before combat, and so Gitu's going to come in. 4 damage coming across. This does not look good for Anthony. He does have the Citadel of Wreckage, so he's going to fight off the initial wave here. But you can see there Chris out of cards, so Theater of Horrors is kind of enabling him to look at 2 cards a turn. But unless he has a haste threat, he doesn't really have the... He doesn't really have... So he puts him down to 5. You can see he just plays a land, so Lyra Dawnbringer here going to... Theater of Horrors. He chips away 1 again, plays another Theater of Horrors. Lyra's going to put Anthony up to 9 though, so I don't know how Chris is going to fight his way out of this one. Pestilence Spirit, that's a very good pickup. I haven't got a preview for this, but all spells have Death Touch. So what he can actually do here is cast Pestilence Spirit and then shock the Lyra. You can see Theater of Horror is going to work, chipping away 1 a turn. Yeah, so he's going to shock Lyra because Pestilence Spirit. In response though, nice play from Anthony, Bedevil on the Pestilence Spirit. So shock is not going to work here. But the last card in hand is a light up the stage. What does he find? Anything? He can't play it. Well, he tapped out for that, so I don't know what he was trying to do there. So again, we're going to see this Lyra come in. But that was a huge play there from Anthony. Nice setup from Chris to get the Death Touch on the shock. But... having the answer though to avoid the Death Touch. So he's going to mortify one of those Theater of Horrors just to stop the constant flow of cards coming. You can see Anthony's life total up to 13, so for the burn player with 1 card in hand, it's not ideal. And a Lyra Dawnbringer. Another Viashino Planeswalker, I think that's the 3rd one. But he needs to get this Dawnbringer off at the battlefield because Anthony's gaining 5 life a turn. But this Theater of Horrors is doing a pretty good is doing some pretty good work here, tapping for 4 to keep pinging. Anthony kind of just stalling a bit. And lethal on board next turn, so Lyra's got to get off the board right now. You can see that keeps pinging for 4. What's he going to find from Theater of Horrors? He needs something. He finds a Wizard's Lightning, but he needs 2 burn spells to take down Lyra. Seal Away will take down the Viashino Pyromancer. What can he do about Lyra? He's going to have to tap out the full value for the Spectacle, and he... oh no, he went Spectacle to the face, sorry, then Lava Coil, the Baneslayer, then... So 3 spells cast there to get that Baneslayer off the board. And so now we've got a game on our hands. Again a Viashino Pyromancer, that's... But does he have any way to... He's going to activate the Spectacle by tapping the 4. Nice. Pyromancer, going to put him to 11. Now he can cast a 2nd card because the damage has been done. The Skewer the Critics he can cast for 1. So suddenly Anthony is down to 8. And you can see Anthony's card, Clifftop Retreat, and it's another land. He's flooding big time this time. If Chris comes back and wins this one, this is going to be a pretty impressive... display. Light Up the Stars is going to light up. I think it's Light Up the Skies is going to be more cut advantage after this connects. So he's going to pay 1, look at top 2 cards and play them. He's going to skewer the critics down to 3. Gitu Lava he can play as well, so lethal on board here. Anthony needs a Baneslayer, a Lyra Dawnbringer, or a board wipe, or we're going to game 3. He does not find it, so we're going to game 3, I believe. And he concedes. Well, that was nuts. Chris just fought through 2 Shalais and a Lyra Dawnbringer to still beat the Boros Angels deck. Some quite bad land flooding there from Anthony, but on Chris's side, the Theatre of Horrors did some serious work. He was looking for a land desperately there. He didn't find it. But he's going to get to skewer the critics. Well, the Resplendent Angel is going to put a stop to the Lava Runner. And I was going to say, what these angels do, whilst it gets the lightning strike, they're very effective because that strike would have been 3 points to the face instead. But Chris forced to use it on one of the creatures. Because you can just keep trading spell for spell here because Anthony's top end is far superior to Chris's. And you can see he's already saved 6 points of damage because he should be at 6, but those lightning strikes had to go to creatures instead. And unbelievably, he had 3 Resplendent Angels and there's been 3 lightning strikes to answer them. Nuts. And Drillbit, this is another new card. It's a Thoughtseize without having to pay 2. It only costs 1 black if you did damage, if you have Spectacle. 3 Settle the Wreckage he can play around here. So 3 Settled Wreckage and a Lava Coil means Chris is going to have to probably find his victory from burn spells. He has 2 cards in hand, so we'll see what they are. A Viashina Pyromancer, down to 8, and here's a Light Up the Stage, so he's only going to get to cast 1 shock. Well, for some reason... Oh, I've misread that card. You can play the cards indefinitely. They don't last just until the end of the turn. Well, that just got a lot better, actually. So Anthony knows that there's 2 points of burn from shock coming, so he's effectively at 4. He's got to keep that in mind. There's the shock. Desperately needs Lyra Dawnbringer now. I think he's pretty much on Lyra Dawnbringer or bust next turn. Wizard's Lightning down to 1. Does he have another burn spell? He does. It's a Skewer the Critics, and Chris wins it 2 games to 1. And a highly entertaining standard match. Yeah, I think the underdog got that one actually, particularly after that game too.